Welcome back to the Wizard Weekly, where we talk about everything in gaming. So for the past few years, Sony has been making a name for themselves, putting all their games on the PC platform, at least, drip feeding them after their mainline releases on the PS5 and obviously PS4 back in the day. And that's cool, obviously to capitalize on the PC market and the growing number of players started seeing the value on that platform, even if there's a grand scheme plan to, transition those players from PC to PSN, forcing that shit on you on some Helldivers 2 type shit. Outside of the corporate hiccups, there hasn't been any real, complaints from the PC players from being able to play the PlayStation-owned titles on the PC platform. Really, it's kind of been a godsend because it's been, for some players, more easier time to, illegally download these games on the platform, but you didn't hear that from me. And this fairly, recent move by Sony to put their games on PC, it's kind of got like the core fan base of the PlayStation players, confused as to what the future of, PlayStation published games are going to be as far as like, tie-in releases on the consoles and then on PC. Is it going to be day one? Is it going to be drip fed like how it is right now? Sony has yet to make an official statement, but the internet is running with, the words that they said in this recent investors meeting that got the transcript finally published from November 8th. I don't know how this shit is just now come to the internet. Questioner 6 asks, you seem to have a lot of PS5 exclusive on your lineup for third-party software titles for the second half. I think that there's a risk of more users opting for PCs. What do you think of the risk and opportunity? Now, these first three sentences are just Sony yapping about that there's a trend of more users going from the PlayStation 4 titles to the PlayStation 5, so that's obviously a good thing. But the last sentence that people are running with on the internet is where they say, in terms of losing players to PCs, we need to have confirmed that any such trend is underway, nor do we have any major risk so far. Now, how they said there isn't a trend anyway for more PC players than on the console, I'm guessing that there's still more players opting for the console version of those titles, since obviously since they have PS4 and PS5 numbers, there's no way they just don't know, so that's obviously not where they're going with that. And then interestingly, they say that they don't see it as a major risk so far. So I'm guessing that they're encouraged by the amount of players that we have on PC. Like I said before, Helldivers was a game that was massive on PC, obviously before the unfortunate events of them trying to force PSN and shit. But even still, after that shit got revoked, it kind of got more popular again on PC. And I mean, in the direction that Sony's going with their games, even with the monumental flop of Concord being probably one of the worst received games of all time, they're still doubling down on their plan to have a lot of live service titles going forward, since that model is still in and people can still profit a lot of money from it. And if they can make a game that a lot of players like, then the name of the game for them will obviously be to put it on as many platforms as possible, or at least coincide with the PlayStation release and put it on PC like they've been doing for a lot of their other games. And the community has shown that they don't mind this move. The only time that the issue arrives is when PlayStation tries to, pull moves like forcing PSN on players just to be able to play the game, or then, sneakily locking out a bunch of different countries from being able to play the games that don't have PSN just because of that. That's still going on right now. There's a whole lot of players that can't play all the new, PlayStation releases on PC just because of that. So unfortunately, I wish that I could say that, their primary focus was to make sure that as many players, whether on PC or on console, was to have as much fun with these games as possible. But more or less, it kind of more looks like, their first goal is numbers and make sure they have good answers for these fucking investor meetings. And then obviously, making good and intuitive titles. But obviously we'll have to wait and see what Sony does with the PC games. Moving on, it is still Nintendo season in full effect as we reach the imminent reveal of the next Nintendo console, most likely dubbed the Switch 2. And as the rumors, speculation just ramps up in the Nintendo community. More recently, we just got a 3D mock-up based on an alleged leaked case for the Switch 2, which we can compare the new Switch model to the old Switch one. It is a lot of shit going down, but this downtime gives us a lot of time to look at the Switch's shortcomings and hopefully not see repeated on the next Nintendo console, especially what we have right now on the screen being the Switch's current eShop state. Now, the eShop is something that I mentally read off a long ass time ago. Like, I barely even go into that application because I buy most of my games physical and just download the games from there. It's basically ancient testament that the Switch 2 eShop is just full of Wii shovelware times 100. Now that AI generated content is in the mix and we have developers like Aldora, and they're just freaking borderline copywritten shit just feeding all over the new games tab. it is fucking atrocious. Now you see, in contrast to old versions of the eShop like a 3DS and Wii U eShop, Nintendo, they decided to take the Switch and be able to allow developers to basically all developers to be able to put a game on there, no matter how big or small you are, since contrasted to earlier years, it was harder for even big name studios to get their games on the platform. But unfortunately, since the Switch launched back all the way in 2017, we've seen the eShop turn into basically what the new games tab on Steam looks like, in the fact that you can see damn near anything in that thing. The only real difference is, while on Nintendo Switch's eShop you see blatant bullshit like this, on Steam's new games tab you just see the spawn of gooners. Like, it's really horny over there. For years, developers and players have complained that the lack of real discoverability for actual good games on the Nintendo eShop has been a real problem, since a lot of developers, they take advantage of being able to just put out sheer amounts of games like Aldora does, and even being able to have like sales. They'll put the most discounted sales in the front, and that'll just put a bunch of weird stuff in your face. Like, at least with Steam, you can block certain games and developers from being able to pop up on your feed, so you don't see Thief Simulator for the 100th time again. But with the Switch, all that is just gone to the echo chamber of all the fucking things that Nintendo just doesn't care about, especially with their old IPs and stuff. So yeah, the eShop definitely needs revision, and I hope that we don't see anything like this on the Nintendo Switch. I hope this Nintendo Switch gets freaking revised even in its later years, so we just have to wait and see on that as well. Now, as of the time that I'm recording this video, it is currently December 12th, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and hopefully everything goes right. This video should be up before 7:30, which is the time of the yearly Game Awards that everyone's gonna be tuned into this year, and hosted by 𝐂𝐀𝐒𝐓, which is our favorite gaming dude that likes to get interrupted by random people on stage a lot. And besides obviously seeing which game's gonna be winning which awards and whatnot, a lot of people are tuning in tonight just because the team behind the Game Awards have confirmed that there's gonna be two they claim holy shit reveals in this event, because there's gonna be some trailers in here, obviously ones that we've seen before, but apparently two of them we have yet to see, and they're just gonna be really big for people to tune in to watch. Now, of course, since the event has yet to occur and we don't know exactly what they're going to be revealing, unfortunately my all-knowing wizard nature has led me to see that one of likely the leaked trailers for tonight's showcase is going to be for the new Mafia title of the Old Country, being leaked earlier this morning on Twitter. Now, to my knowledge, this was leaked by this Twitter user here, DJari2020. I have no idea who this person is or what he does. Apparently he's a PS5 Pro user and a father and a gamer, so and he has his profile picture. But as you can see, what we have is a pretty reputable showcase of the Old Country Mafia trailer, which looks really cool. Now, when they said Old Country, when they announced this game, I was thinking still like 1920s, 1930s, around the setting of like the first Mafia title. But this looks like late 1800s, Red Dead Redemption looking time, like 1911, 1914. This is like old country. This is sick. Now, as you can see, the beginning of the video kind of cuts into where there's some dialogue, so there's likely more to this trailer. So we do have more of this to look forward to in the Game Awards later tonight, if this is one of the big reveals. But this looks sick, man. I just played the first Mafia title for the first time, and that was an amazing showcase. It was like a freaking HBO show damn near. So I have no doubt that Hangar 13, they can take any Mafia presence of a title and just make it into something really amazing. And this, while we don't have much to look off of, and this is obviously like in-game cinematics and not actual gameplay, I'm sure that whatever this title's going to be is still going to be fun as hell. And I can't wait to do some Mafia shit on horses. That's going to be amazing. Just gonna picking up freaking depth collections on a horse. Some dope shit. And that's all I got for today's video, man. If you enjoyed, leave a like on the video, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.